Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. So this Skyrim mod video is not a showcase, but it's just a video of me chatting with you guys, something that I do on occasion, sharing my experiences on the off chance it might be helpful to somebody, although I don't know that it will. The video probably won't be very entertaining, won't be for everybody, but for those that may want it, here it is. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my experience with what happened in my case to guarantee me to crash whenever going into the load order, being connected to Bethesda.net, how the load order was crashing, and ultimately what I did to work around it. Now please understand that I am Skyrim Special Edition PS4 Slim, but just because this is my experience with the amount of mods that was causing it does not mean that you'll have the same experience. You might have more mods in your load order currently than I did at the time this was happening, or, you know, whatever. But this might, if you have this problem in the future, then this might point you in the right direction, which is why I wanted to share it. So I'm no expert on this game, and I don't claim to be, but if I understand correctly, we're allowed to have up to 255 mods that are the ones that are plugins, not counting the Masters, ESL, and ESL flag, and that if you go past the limit of 255, then Skyrim starts running very badly. And recently I've been checking various mods, trying to find a way to make the game run better, because for me personally, it's not run nearly as well since the Creations update that it did before it. And on a side note, not related to this story, but if at all possible to get the SSE engine fixes and the mods that complement it, that a lot of PC players say are definitely needed for Skyrim, that makes it run better. If it's possible to get ports of those, hopefully they'll port them over soon. I don't know if they're reliant on the SKSE, then it may not be. But in any case, so I had installed various mods in my load order trying to fix things like frame rate and random crashing and all that, and that went about as well as you'd expect. But at one point, the most amount of mods I had in my load order was 208. I was running tests around 205 to 208 mods. And I have a mod called Just Checking that, when placed last in the load order, is supposed to count the plugins that count to the 255 limit. That's of course not counting the Master, ESL, and ESL flagged. And at the time it said that I had around 170 mods that it was detecting in... Oh, of course. Excuse me a minute. I don't know how well you guys will be able to hear me with this shit going on. Of course I could now. I'll let them deal with the rest. At any rate, it was detecting that I had 170 counting to that 255 limit. And I don't know how accurate that is. Let's say it's not at all, and that every single mod in my load order was counting to the limit, which I know is impossible because I do have some ESL and ESL flagged in there. But at any rate, at the most, I had 208 mods in the load order at that time. Yet, when I would go into the creations page, I could go into the page and download and install mods into the load order just fine. But when I would go into the load order to move those mods, with over 200 in there, I was guaranteed to crash while being connected to Bethesda.net. And the crashing would happen whether you'd scroll quickly through the load order and it'd do it about halfway down, but it was not the position that was causing it, because you could scroll slowly, scroll mods just one at a time, or even just sitting in the load order. Didn't even have to scroll. You know how when the image loads, it's supposed to stay loaded till you move past that and then it loads more? Well, you could take and load an image, sit there, and after a little bit of time, it would spin and load the image again, something I've never seen it do, and it'd do that about once or twice, and then it would crash. With having over 200 mods in there, it was guaranteed, being connected online, being connected to Bethesda.net, that I was getting crashing when being in the load order. So the very simple workaround to that was that I could go online to install mods in the load order, and then reload the files, close app, go offline on the PS4 itself, and then I could go into the load order and move them wherever I wanted and did not have the problem. So I guarantee that in my case it was being connected to Bethesda.net, because for those that don't realize it, you're connected to it in the load order. That's why if you go offline and go into the load order, you'll see that it says no description available for all the information on the various mods in the load order. It says no description. It pulls that information from Bethesda.net. And for whatever reason, in my case, when having past 200 mods in there, 205 to 208, it was guaranteed to cause crashing. Now, since then, I've removed a bunch because they weren't really helping, and I currently have around 189, 190 without checking to be certain in there, but in any case, it's not crashing. So in my experience, having over 200 mods, and it didn't matter what they were, in the load order, was causing it to crash when being connected online from Bethesda.net, and the workaround was to move them offline. So I don't know that you'll have the same experience, but on the off chance that you do, I hope that this can help you out. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my experience and watch the video. Take care. This has been a Streaming Freedom Video Bulletin via the Eyes Only Informant Net. Peace out.